It is the Martha Zoller Show, and we are here with Representative Andrew Clyde. And of course, we saw yesterday at the border in Texas, and he was talking about Senate Bill 4, which was the Texas bill that is going back and forth between the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeals. And he was saying that it would have been helpful because they got a run on this border, and these illegal immigrants attacked the National Guard, and they got control of the situation, but it shows how difficult this problem is. Andrew Clyde is here with me right now, and we've got several things going on, Andrew. We've got unrest in Haiti, problems in Israel, problems in Ukraine. We've got problems on the border, and we've got a deadline related to the budget. Hey, did I leave anything out?
I think you covered it pretty well, Martha. We got a lot of issues going on right now.
So let's take the budget first. What do you think is going to happen today with what's happening?
Well, I will tell you that it is my hope that we do not pass this half omnibus. It is chock full of Democrat policies and priorities. It spends $60 billion more than Nancy Pelosi did in FY23. And I'll tell you, it does not protect our southern border. We are funding the tyranny of this nation with this particular piece of legislation, and we're funding the demise of our nation. And
so you're saying you're going to vote no, but what do you think the landscape is on this? Are they going to get enough votes to pass it, do you think?
I don't know. We're going to have to see on the House floor. I'm hearing that there's the groundswell of folks that are actually going to vote no on this bill. We could very well have well over 120 Republicans vote no on it, and a number of Democrats as well. I think we have to get to 142 or 143, I think, to actually take this bill down. That would be no votes because it's on suspension, which is a violation of our rules to begin with. We're not supposed to have a bill on suspension. It's worth over $100 million, and this one is over $1 trillion.
Well, I appreciate you giving us that update, but those votes are expected today, correct?
They are somewhere around 11 o'clock, I think, this morning that we're going to be voting on it, and we will see. Will we be able to stop this, or will the swamp win? And will we continue funding Nancy Pelosi's priorities at higher than Nancy Pelosi's spending levels?
So tell us a little bit about what's happening on the foreign aid side of this, because I know there's a lot of discussion related to both Ukraine and Israel. Now we have this situation in Haiti. Tell us what, one, your thoughts are on those issues, but secondly, what is being voted on related to it?
Well, I'll tell you that within the foreign aid portion of it, we do have aid going to other countries like Egypt and Jordan, to protect those countries' borders, all right, and Ukraine's borders, but not our borders, okay, the way to stop the illegal invasion at our southern border. When it comes to Israel, we should be funding Israel. We should be supporting Israel. I'll tell you something that it's slightly different from this bill, but for example, the State Department is holding up tens of thousands of approvals for rifles, for firearms, going to the state of Israel from the United States, right? And they are doing it deliberately because they don't want the Israeli government to have more firearms to defend themselves, and it's absolutely unconscionable.
So these are contracts that are already there, and they're not allowing them to be fulfilled?
It is contracts that have already been let, okay, but the State Department has to approve all exports of arms, all right? And the State Department is not approving, has basically, put them in a drawer. They're holding them. On average, the State Department takes 41 days to approve the transfer of arms from our country to a friendly country like Israel. And these requests have been there since October. Congress has to weigh in on them if they're over $1 million, and these are well over $1 million. Congress has already done its job in November. These contracts should be fulfilled so the Israeli government can get the weapons for their troops, their police that they need. But that's not happening. The State Department has got a hold on them because of the Biden administration's policies and their orders.
You know, a long time ago when I ran against Doug Collins for this seat, you know, I was a supporter of term limits. And at that time, he was not. But he made a comment in the campaign about how the real problem was the bureaucrats that were there year in and year out. They made a whole career of it, and that they could wait out the elected officials and they just did what they wanted. And I'm beginning to think more and more he was right, you know, that we've got this situation where people who are unelected bureaucrats are making decisions about our foreign policy that should not happen.
Martha, you are 100% correct. And I'll give you a great example. So the EPA in their tailpipe rule, all right, that basically restricts emissions so great that automobile manufacturers are going to have to make 2/3 of their product line into electric vehicles in order to comply with this by like 2032. Right? That rule was made by an unelected bureaucrat, okay, published in the Federal Register. What it takes to stop that rule is an entire vote by the House of Representatives, a vote by the Senate, and the president has to sign that bill in order for that unelected bureaucrat's decision to be overturned. It's insane. That's a great example right there.
Well, and I tell you what, and I'm going to leave you with this, Andrew, because I know you got a lot of work to do. But, and I know that we're not there yet for what I'm about to say. But I don't know if you ever got a chance when Senator Isakson was alive to take a look at his biennial budget bill. And what he did was he kind of modeled it after what Texas does, where they do a budget for 2 years. And in the off years, they do oversight where they go through the budgets line by line and they look for things like you're talking about. They look for things that overlap. They look for programs that have been done for 25 years, but they're still getting funded every year. So I know that people are throwing things in their cars right now because they can't even get a budget done for 1 year. But we've got to figure out a new way of doing things because the way we're doing it is not working.
You know, that biennial budget idea actually is a very worthy idea. That I've heard that up here before, come actually out of the budget committee itself. And that's something that is absolutely worth investigating to see if we can do that where we don't spend as much time to do a 2-year budget. And then we can spend more time on oversight, ensuring that the budget that we pass is actually being executed as we voted on it to be executed. That is a very important thing.
Thank you so much. Andrew Clyde, good luck to you. We'll follow up with you next week after these votes are taken, okay?
Thanks, Martha. Sounds good. Sure will.
Thank you so much.